Alright guys, I just got my C2 Marshall Blueline gauges in, they're LED, and I just finished wiring up and hooking up my speedometer and tach into my factory bezel. I used a combination of the old gauge bezel, the white gauge bezel, and the clear lens in order to get these mounted in there the way I did. Blacked out these over here. I'm not going to be utilizing those. I'm going to have a 4-gauge pod up here with the rest of the matching gauges. This is just some random gauge and a 3-gauge pod I had laying around that's up here. But I just wanted to show you how badass these are. First, let me hit the lights for starters, and then we're going to power on. How friggin' badass is that? That is awesome. This is a GPS speedometer sender, which I got. Obviously it's in the red because I'm in my garage right now, but in the open that light will turn green. I'll be able to see the reflection of it in the window, which tells me that signal, which will feed my miles per hour. The tach is hooked up, everything's hooked up. I have a couple of last little things to do. I'm waiting for my 4-gauge pod to show up, and then I have all my other 4 gauges that'll be up here powered in, and they all match these here, and it's going to look amazing. It's going to take this truck to the next level. And then after I'm done with that, the seat will come out, carpet and soundproofing, and heat shield will go in, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty wicked. So I'm really excited about these gauges. It really makes you feel like you're in a modern car. It makes me feel like I'm in this the Dodge Charger I used to have. You know, it just oozes modern, you know, new car, and it's like you don't feel like you're in this old truck. It's crazy. They just don't fit with what the truck is, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted them to look modern and awesome, and they fit great. I went with the silver bezel rather than the chrome bezel because I got the chrome on the wheel. That's enough for me. Chrome touches. I wanted to really match the silver outline on these bezels here. Let me turn that light on there so you can see. Like I said, it was a cable-driven speedometer on the transmission, and the cable was all jacked up and everything. And I said, you know what? Rather than do a Hall effect sender on that, so why not go high-tech? It was only $38 on eBay for this GPS sending unit right here. It's just tucked up there. It's no big deal, and it's going to do the job. It's going to give me a GPS-accurate speed at all times, which is pretty awesome. And this it's in there pretty good. It's not going anywhere. It's pretty mounted. So this is my speedometer calibration button, which I just decided to put there just for ease of access. I'll probably never even use it. Radio, I'm still undecided. I think I'm just gonna, these are the wires for power for the radio, but I'm just gonna ball them up and lean back here. I think I'm gonna mount like a smart device here, smartphone or something, and do a Bluetooth amp, kind of like what I had on my Harley, and just have it all high-tech and wireless. That's the wave of the future here. There's the pigtail, the old pigtail I cut off to go ahead and make these connections. I did all, you know, connectors. I got this kit of connectors from Harbor Freight, and you get your spade connectors and stuff, and that's all I utilized was the spade connectors. I just did a whole bunch of spade connectors, and then once I connected them, I put heat shrink tubing over them that I also got from Harbor Freight, which I used a bunch of assorted loom too. I'm very, you know, anal retentive about wiring, but I used a bunch of different size heat shrinks and things, different assorted ones, to insulate the wires and make sure that nothing shorts back there. But also I could always just take a razor blade and cut the heat shrink off and disconnect them very cleanly. And then when I want to, you know, if I need to take anything apart, and then if I want to put it back together, I put them back together and put new heat shrink, and boom. Just real ease of future maintenance. The only problem I'm really having is that the white bezel, the white part of the bezel that's back there that you held the factory gauges, that the clear, you know, housing attaches to, is just so friggin' brittle and dry rotted. The thing literally crumpled to pieces as I installed this dash in here. I'm amazed I got it in, and that this thing actually, you know, that these are actually in. I thought this was just going to be like, by the time I got it in there, I thought it was done. I'm just going to pull this whole thing apart and rethink it, because it was just that bad. But I need that white gauge bezel to hold the clear lens that used to cover the old gauges, which I dremeled the holes out to fit these gauges into, to hold them solid in there so they're centered in those ports. So that's what I did. Anyway, it's a hell of a long video for a couple of gauges. You know, there'll be another video when I get the next gauges hooked up, but for right now, it could be a few days until I get that gauge pod in, and I'm not going to do anything until that happens. So there might be other videos of me doing carpet or something else in here before that happens, but this was just too cool. I just had to share it. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching.